We have more updates. It is less than 3 weeks away. Welcome to part 5 of my Speed Puzzle World Series coverage. There's been so many updates and information being shared throughout this entire process leading up to the inaugural Speed Puzzle World Series that it is almost overwhelming. But we do have a few new updates, and these ones actually lead to a few questions. Well, two of them lead to a few questions. Now, I did start this series with a lot of speculation as we waited for bits of information to be released, but like I've mentioned in parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, make sure you go watch those. The information is being shared in a deliberate manner and in ways that make sense. All the important stuff was shared much earlier on, and now everything we get is just mostly surprises or teasers or stuff that we don't absolutely have to know and wouldn't make an outcome on if people were attending or not. Before I talk about the new updates, make sure to click subscribe, and this is for two reasons. The first is that there is going to be a lot of World Series coverage on this channel over the next weeks in the lead up to the World Series, possibly during the World Series, and a little bit afterwards as well, but especially in the lead up. There is this video, of course. There will be at least one more, maybe two more preview videos. Puzzled and Chatty International episodes will be returning, and there will be a few guests on there that will be attending the World Series and are some of the top contenders that may win the whole thing. So you definitely want to watch those episodes. We will be going into detail about what their thoughts are on the World Series, and there may be a couple other videos or surprise appearances on here as well. There's a lot to cover in, at the time of this recording, just over 17 days until the first box is opened at the World Series. I don't know how I'm going to get everything on here, as well as doing all my training, but make sure to click subscribe. And the second reason is that this channel is closing in on its 1 year anniversary since it started, and I'm so close to that 1,000 follower mark, which was not even remotely a goal at the start of this, but now that it's so close, again, at the time of this recording, just 45 people away. Once we get to 1,000 people subscribe to this, I will be reconsidering some of the elements of the channel, adding a few things on here that people have requested. That 1,000 that's a big milestone. And like I said in my very, very first video on this channel, I'll keep doing this as long as I want to. Who knows how long that is, but because of everyone subscribing so far, it does make me want to do this a little bit longer, at least. So yeah, the second reason is, help me out, get to that 1,000 follower mark. Subscriber is subscriber on you. A year in, and I keep mixing up the two. Subscribe. I want to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark. So here we go into the new updates. Again, go back and watch the first 4 parts of this series. You'll also want to watch episode 2 of Puzzled and Chatty, where I sit down with one of the organizers, the founders, the creators of the Speed Puzzle World Series, Mel Townsend. She goes into a bit of the background information for the Speed Puzzle World Series, which is a very interesting watch. And finally, as a disclaimer, do this in all the videos, I am not associated in any way with this event. I am doing this purely because I want to. I am simply a competitor and someone who will be at the Speed Puzzle World Series, but I am not involved in the organization of it or anything like that. Everything on here is my own opinion and view. So what are the new updates after that very long intro? Probably the longest intro I've ever done. What do we now know, and what do we suddenly not quite know? We have 3 things to cover. We have the seating arrangement announcements, the trophies have now been revealed, and we have a new creator challenge. So first, we know that we will have seating arrangements. As a reminder, this event is made up of 6 individual challenges, no pairs or teams. Every participant will compete in all 6 challenges, and it's your cumulative solving time, adding all 6 challenges together, that will determine your final placing, not your individual result or placement within each of the challenges. So how does this work for seating? Behind the scenes, I've spoken to a few people that are going to the event, and they were also wondering how this was going to work. Would we move places between each of the different events? There's 3 per day. Would it be based on overall standings? So if you finished first after challenge 1, would you be then placed at table 1 for challenge number 2, and so on and so on? Would it be randomized? So is predetermined and we just kind of move in between the different challenges, or is it just going to be pick your own spot and sit? Highly unlikely for that one. And it is none of those. We will be in the same seat for all 6 of the challenges, which does make sense. This information was revealed on the Speed Puzzle World Series YouTube channel on a question and answer video that they posted. I highly recommend going and watch that, as it does provide more information in there with other aspects. I'm not covering everything, but definitely go and watch that. The link to that video is down in the description below. Now, the seating placement being the same in every single round, it's for logistical reasons, is what the organizers have said, which makes perfect sense. Randomized seating or pick your own seat, which is still the worst idea, would be a nightmare for the commentators and overall organization of the event. Having everyone just have one set spot for the 6 challenges does make sense for the most part. Now, I do think that reorganizing based on cumulative time would make a little bit of sense. It's essentially the same as what you see at the World Championships or even at National Championships, where the higher you finish, the closer to the front your place for the following rounds. It does make sense. However, it's because it's the same people round after round after round. Close at this point of recording 329 out of a possible 340 tickets are sold. There are just too many names to organize and a very short period of time between each round. Now, I am a little bit surprised it's going to be the same for day 1 and day 2. During the break in between the 2 days, you could reorganize it into the people that have done better are closer to a certain area within the room to help with the cameras and timekeepers and such, which we'll talk about in a second. But because you have that break in between the 2 days, that's when I could see it. That being said, day 2 is a complete unknown on how people are going to finish, with challenge 4 being the mystery box, and then challenge 5 being the Gibson circle, which is not going to be easy, and then finishing off with the panoramic 636 piece puzzle. That's going to throw times all over the place. So, okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense to a degree. Now, I am curious to see how they do the groupings within the room or the sections, because in their video they do say that this is to help with the timekeepers, commentators and such. We will get our seating lists released on April 24th, so the week before the event takes place. Maybe a video on that? I don't know. I'll wait to see what the information is that is released, but we don't know anything about kind of how it's all organized. Now, what I like about what the organizers have done with all the release of information is they have chosen their words very carefully every step of the way. And on the competitor list on their website, it's no different. So it specifically says, I'll read it to make sure I get it exactly right, because I can almost guarantee that they took some time to figure out how to phrase this just right. Please note, table numbers are assigned for logistics only and are not a direct reflection of skill level. Okay. Table numbers are the key words there. Not sections, not groupings, but table numbers. The participants have to be grouped in some sort of way. Because they made a point to say it's for logistics, there has to be some sort of organizational aspect to it. And in their question and answer video, they do mention that previous results are taken into consideration. This would have to be the case, because it would make no sense to have myself paired at a table with Veronica from Poland, who just won the World Championships in September. That would be my nightmare, because as she's finishing the puzzle, I would be maybe 100 pieces in. That would be a bit demoralizing. So I'm hoping that at least tables are paired with similar abilities. I'm hoping. Who will be sharing my table? I have no idea. I'll find out next week, or we'll all find out next week. Now, the main questions that come from this, purely from a competitor point of view, is every seat equal? What I mean by that is the lighting the same in no matter where you are sitting in the room? Noise levels to a degree, are they the same? If you're closer, for instance, where will the commentators be seated? Are they right near a certain table? That can be impactful. Spectators, we know spectators are above us. Will they also be near the side? Will lighting be an issue because of shadows from people standing over top? There's a lot of factors to take into consideration when it comes to how it might affect your seating placement. And because we're doing 6 challenges, which for the most part has taken out the luck aspect that we see in other speed puzzle competitions, environmental influences can still be a factor. And if you have the same environmental negative influence for 6 straight rounds, that could be an issue. And then my other question is distribution of timekeepers or judges. In the fast sections, I'm going under the assumption that they are grouping faster people within the same section. We don't know the layout, so it's very tough to kind of make the predictions here, but I hope there's more timekeepers and judges in those sections, because I can see this being very chaotic. In a upcoming video, I'll go through kind of the competitor list and the top names that are there. If they're all grouped into the same area within the competition venue, that could be very tough if there's only 1 or 2 judges in there, or camera people. So just as many people as we can. Yeah, we don't need equal distribution. Victor, Katty, Veronica, they're going to be finishing probably quite a bit ahead of where I am, so we don't need the same types of judges in the same areas. And that being said, the sections might not be based on placing times at all. We might not group all the fastest people together all at once. So if we just do this by sections, in section 1 you may have the world champion from last year, Veronica, in section 1. In section 2 it's Victor, who finished in second. 3rd place was Katty. That could be section 3 for them. And then continue that all the way through and then cycle back. So it's equally distributed in terms of ability levels. Maybe that's another way that they go. It would distribute the timekeepers around the room. It would kind of balance out where the cameras need to be a little bit, so there's not as much crossover. Who knows? It doesn't really make a difference. That's why it's not a huge concern, but we'll see in 10 days, 11 days from now. Update number 2, quick one. This is the trophies. The trophies have been revealed. We know what they look like, which is exciting. It's an extra little push in these final few weeks leading up to it, especially if you're someone that's going for the win, not me, but if you're someone who's going for those top few places where you get to take a trophy home, just seeing it kind of makes it a little bit more real, I think. Now, the trophies include the main puzzle piece from the Speed Puzzle World Series logo, which is nice to see. It also makes it an obvious puzzle trophy, which is good. I've seen some trophies, it's not quite obvious it's for a speed puzzle competition, so that's always a plus. The bases on 1st, 2nd, 3rd are gold, silver, bronze, which is a nice little detail that's been added to it. They just look good. They're typical trophies. To whomever is the winner or the winners, congratulations in advance. It's a nice trophy to have on your shelf. And as an extra bonus, these clearly are a size that it's easy to transport back to wherever your home may be. So again, a nice added bonus there. And finally, the 3rd update, we have the Creators Challenge. This update came out of nowhere, but it is an interesting marketing approach. Essentially, the Speed Puzzle World Series organizers want to get people, the participants, possibly fans, involved in showcasing this inaugural event by utilizing Instagram and TikTok to share as much content as possible, really, over the next month. Now, what this means is open to interpretation, and that's where the questions kind of come from. Uh, it's very vague in the description on what they're looking for, but in terms of judging, it comes down to creativity, effort, and engagement. Those are the key factors in whatever they're going to use to determine a winner. And the top three winners will receive what is called the founding creator status. So that's fun, which comes with prizes and recognition. I think it's a nice little twist on here, especially for those who may not be in the running for the overall prizes, first, second, third, fourth, whatever it might be. Now I could see some crossover between the two because there's going to be a lot of people following those potential winners. So easy crossover potential here. But who knows? Unlimited entries are allowed, which might be a bit overwhelming in counting the submissions. So good luck to whoever has to count all of those over the next few weeks. So 329 participants, maybe 340, plus multiple posts per day. That's going to be a lot. And it's also worth noting that this isn't just in the lead up to the event, as far as I can gather. It also includes content that's being shared during the event, as well as up to a week after submissions close on May 9th, which is 1 week after the event is over, which I do like. It does allow people to catch up a little bit on what they're doing while still having a reasonable timeline with it. It can put some pressure on people that do more content, but again, I think it's a fun little twist to include in here. And for an inaugural international event where funds and money is being allocated very specifically, marketing is not cheap. So getting kind of this guerrilla type marketing aspect in here it's a very smart idea by the organizers. So well done for coming up with this and rewarding people for doing it as well. It's not purely just trying to get as much content for free as possible. Now, when it comes to the creator challenge, it says follower count doesn't matter. That being said, if engagement is one of the factors, people that have more followers will have an advantage in there. But if you are if you don't have a ton of followers relative to other people in the puzzle world, and who will be attending this event, you can probably think of a few puzzle creators that have a lot of followers. Some of them will be there, some of them will not be there. But if your content is good, if it's engaging, it will get people to stop and look at it. And from a personal perspective, this would be fun to be a part of, considering I'm not going to be taking home one of the trophies I showed earlier in my suitcase, so there is that. So if you do want to help me out with that, you can follow my Instagram page if you're not doing so already at @puzzle. It's the same on TikTok as well. There's not tons on there. And engage with the posts over the next 3 to 4 weeks. That would be lovely. Shameless self-promotion, yeah. But also follow other puzzle content creators that are out there, whether they already have a large following or if they're just new to doing this as well. I'm sure most of us can think of some big name puzzle creators. Sometimes it's the people that have just shown up or that have the most unique ideas. So follow and engage with as many of them as you can, because at the same time we do want these types of puzzle competitions to do well and to kind of influence or impact how other competitions are run. The more successful that this World Series is, the better it's going to be for the speed puzzle and puzzle community as a whole. Now, that being said, if you do have specific suggestions for me that I might be able to do or that you think would be engaging or fun or interesting or whatever, leave a comment below and let me know. Or if it's a secret, just message me privately on my Instagram page. We don't want to give everything away. It is a competition after all. But that is it for this update video. We are just a few weeks away from the competition. Like I said, at the time of this recording, less than 18 days, just over 17 days away from that first challenge. I did finally book my flight and hotel. Congratulations to me. Now I just need to figure out how to ship a bunch of puzzles from Germany back to Canada, because I will be getting a lot of puzzles. Make sure to subscribe so you keep getting these updates. Click like if you enjoy the videos. Leave comments below, suggestions. Let me know what you're thinking about these final few weeks, especially if you're attending the World Series. Make sure to follow the Speed Puzzle World Series on their Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. All those links are in the description below as well. But that is it. There will be a lot more stuff coming up over the next few weeks. So again, please click subscribe, engage, do whatever you can to make sure this event goes off as well as possible. So until the next video, which will be coming up very soon, as always, happy puzzling.